Scene 71. Scene 71.
Now I just feel like you just fuck with me. Like you're not using any of those. You just...
No, every time after you leave, I re-record it and do it right.
3.8 out of 5.
Whoa, no.
That just doesn't work for us.
Sound, speeding, camera, rolling. Scene 71, take 303, mark.
No half stars on take 303. No half stars on take 303. No half stars on take 303.
Welcome to Take 303, powered by Fort Wayne Media, the podcast with the guy who knows a lot about film.
And his friend.
I'm Nick Molinari.
I'm JP Brooks. We're talking everything film and television, and today we are talking about Bad Boys, Ride or Die.
But first, in cinematic news.
Cinematic news. Oh man, I didn't know. I was trying to do
Bad
Boys.
Oh, I see.
Cinematic news.
The Oscars are reportedly adding a new category for stunts. The last news that we heard was for casting. Now they're going for stunts. This is a big thing.
Nice.
We saw a whole movie just about stunt people that got kind of skirted off. So it's nice to see some appreciation for that.
And they might actually win it.
There is an Avengers 5 in the works.
What are they going to call it? We have any? Who's in it? What's going on in the MCU? I have not been keeping up at all.
Falcon is the new Captain America. And then they have the Kid Hawkeye. They have the trio of the Miss Marvels. I'm really not selling this as good.
But this is the problem with like comic books too, is that like they do something big and then they keep trying to. It's like
they have Black Panther's sister.
Oh yeah, it's just everybody's cousin. It's just the Avengers, the
family.
Cousin. Avengers, the cousins party.
Jordan Peele is also in talks for directing an MCU movie. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like he should say no.
Well, maybe if he picks like a creepy character.
Honestly, if he directed like the horror Doctor Strange, that could have been an interesting one. I'm glad that they picked Sam Raimi though. But yeah, if he does something of that nature,
we'll see.
Zack Snyder.
Oh my god, this fucking asshole.
Zack Snyder is in talks to direct a 300 prequel.
Okay.
That's it.
What's the prequel going to be? Everybody getting destroyed by the Persians who run everything?
Yeah, so unless there's another battle that we don't know that appeared before that, and it's a TV series, it's not a movie, so it's his first foray into TV.
God. Well, Zach's probably going to love it. He goes, wait, I can make 12 one-hour episodes? Oh, nice.
And if they're in their slow motion, then it's only really 5 scenes.
Why nobody asked for this? There's no reason.
And speaking of no new ideas, we will be reviewing Bad Boys 4 Ride or Die after the commercial break.
Everybody has a vision. Everybody has a dream. Something that needs to be captured on the big screen. We at Fort Wayne Media love taking your passion projects and bringing them to life on the big screen. Whether you're a small business, a passionate artist, or a small business owner, with expert videography and photography, we're going to take what you love to do, what you love to make, and transform it into a cinematic experience. Fort Wayne Media.
Today, we're talking about Bad Boys Ride or Die, otherwise known by us as Bad Boys 4 Ride or Die, starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Bad Boys Ride or Die follows Reggie, the son of Martin Lawrence's character Marcus. As he gets home from war after a tour of duty with the U.S. Marines, he watches as his father becomes a fugitive on the run, confused about what to do when he receives a mysterious phone call from his father saying to rescue the family, he has to take out his gun and go ham. Hopefully in the event of getting the approval of his father and maybe finally cooking at the family barbecue. And that is Bad Boys Ride or Die.
We joke, but he kind of stole that movie.
He did.
So for Reggie to really steal the show here, it kind of proves that there wasn't really a lot going on here.
It's a movie. I don't know if you remember Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network when they would make those 1 hour movie specials. Mm-hmm. This is kind of what it feels like. It feels like Dexter's Laboratory is going to do one big hour episode to finally, you know, and something extra for the fans. It really is for the fans, this movie. And so if you're not a diehard Bad Boys fan, I think you're not going to like this. And it's been so long since I've really seen any of the other ones that I kind of don't care.
It is 100% a fan service movie. This is for the fans of Bad Boys, but also at the same time, I'm looking for, you know, the clues, because you're our resident expert on, you know, sequels and part 1s and part 2s. Does this work as a standalone movie? I think it does.
It does. I'm very impressed, like happy to say, even if you haven't watched any of the Bad Boys movies, they fill you in pretty easily and they don't spend too much time having to explain everything. Quick cutbacks, literally sometimes 5 seconds, and you get the picture.
Like, there's a lot of cameos, there's a lot of returning characters. Some people can get more enjoyment out of that than others, especially me, who's probably the only person that was cackling in the movie theater out of every cameo that happened.
A lot of cameos that I didn't understand. There were some callbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that shot of him running on the highway. Iconic.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's, you know, they're beating a dead horse for me at this point. If I wanted to watch Bad Boys Ride or Die, just watch Bad Boys 1 again, right? So
yeah, and I actually did right before this. I love these movies. I grew up with them, so I watched 1 and 2 in preparation for this movie. I didn't watch 3. I didn't need to. This kind of felt like a redo of 3, and I'm still like they actually made a video, I think, the other day where they called it out. They were like, yeah, we messed up with the titles. We should have used Bad Boys for Life and put the number 4 in there for this one, and kept 3 should have been Ride or Die.
Yeah, and also the title Ride or Die for this movie just... I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm actually mad they didn't say the title of the movie. Because Bad Boys feels like that.
And the thing is, I think they do say that phrase in other movies.
Yeah. The title, like, has a whole song that goes with it. Mm-hmm. It feels more appropriate. Like, it's forgiven because that's kind of the
it's
shtick.
Tongue in cheek. It's what they do.
So for them not to have it here really upset me.
I think also something that you keyed into very early on is you said it felt like another series that we watched a lot of movies from.
It feels like Fast and Furious, dude.
I get that. It ends with a barbecue. But then again, Bad Boys 2 ended with a barbecue. So who barbecued first is the question here.
Fast and Furious barbecued first.
Barbecues started in the Fast franchise. This is a serious topic that we need to get to the bottom of. Fast and Furious didn't do a barbecue until, I'm going to say, Fast 5?
Probably.
Fast 5, I want to say, is like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
So Bad Boys 2 came out in 2003.
Did they have a barbecue in Bad Boys?
They had a barbecue at the end of the movie. Remember, it's the whole thing with the swimming pool? We figured it out.
There's a lot of questions here. And the thing is, I'm having more fun talking about this than the movie. Just thinking about Ride or Die is...
I think we had fun in the movie. Because the thing is, like, so lore aside, if we talk just about Bad Boys, Ride or Die... It is a somewhat fun... Like, we're always going to use the word somewhat.
Yeah.
It's somewhat fun. It's a very passable popcorn flick.
For me, it barely makes it to popcorn flick. But there's enough funny moments in comedy and enough cool shit blowing up that it works.
This kind of feels like one that should have dropped on Netflix.
This is Oh, that is so it. This is a Netflix movie. It's nostalgia lens. It's all that. And unfortunately for me, I guess it's been so long, I don't have the nostalgia goggles on. I'm just going here. In some ways, I feel like almost like a new fan.
So we were talking about action comedies in the car, and you know how they aged and different things like that. And you said like you don't remember the Bad Boys movies, and I was like, no, I vividly remember these movies. But I also you asked, are these good movies? And I was like, that's a tough question to answer because in one sense, no. They're not good movies, but in the other sense, they're cinematic masterpieces. They're actual master classes on how to do an action movie. If any of the listeners out there, if you've seen Hot Fuzz, You've never seen Bad Boys 2? You've never seen Bad Boys 2 and Point Break? These are quintessential action movies that you need to watch as a cop, because how can you not jump through the air and hold 2 pistols and shoot while falling down? That is just what you need to do as a cop. And I laughed so hard when that happened in this movie.
Yeah.
Because they're so self-aware of it. And Eddie, in terms of ranking, again, we always name drop Eddie. He's like our unofficial third guest
ever, yeah.
At all times. Eddie and I were talking about this the other day. He said he liked Bad Boys 1 better than Bad Boys 2.
I think I remember Bad Boys 1 more than 2.
That's the one with the French guy and the girl witness. The second one was the one with the sister.
Yep.
Yeah. I personally like the second one a little bit better. I think it has so much more flair. It is so pretentious.
Well, they know what they are now at that point.
Yeah, it's also a Michael Bay movie, and the last 2 additions to the series were not Michael Bay.
Yeah. I also think, too, culturally speaking, like Bad Boys, it just stuck with people. I know exactly what Bad Boys is, and watching the banter go between the two again is like, oh, yeah, this is what Bad Boys is.
Well, the banter is great, and I think that might be something that might be lost on a new fan that's just coming to see it. Like, it's funny, like, oh, yeah, they're arguing and they're bickering and stuff like that, but I don't think he understands the significance that, you know, when we saw this, we were seeing the King of 4th of July. We were seeing Will Smith post Fresh Prince, and we were seeing Martin Lawrence. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence aren't what they used to be.
No, they're not. They're just, at this point, they're just regular actors. I hate to say it. Like, when's the last time Martin Lawrence was in a movie? Yeah.
Bad Boys 3.
And the writing, I think, in this movie is pretty bad. The dialogue.
It's very basic. That's
Yeah,
why
very
I likened it to a Netflix movie, because it feels like this is the safest path for us to take. It's a trope that we've seen so many different times. I literally pointed to the bad guy 5 minutes into the movie.
My 5 minutes movie, but like 3 seconds on screen, you like, go, that's the guy. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
So predictable. I can't even give myself credit for that one. I'm like, yeah, I know movies. Like, no, it was just so in your face.
And it's just every action comedy film, like buddy cop film, there's always a dirty cop on the inside, and it's always someone close.
So that's the thing. They didn't even say there were dirty cops
Right.
around, and I'm just like, that's the guy.
That's the guy
right there.
I think what makes Bad Boys especially unique for me in my mind is the flair, is the swag, the over-the-topness, the fact that in a lot of other buddy cop films, they feel like cops. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence literally feel like bad boys who are cops. Like, they live up to the title. The other ones, they feel like morons. These guys just feel like they're badass. I feel like a little bit of that was lost here. Part of that is also because they don't have the captain.
He is so different from every captain in every cop movie because he is always on their side.
Yeah.
Like, every captain is always up their ass, always by the books, for the rules and all that stuff. This captain was like, you guys need to do what you need to do and solve this case in 2 hours. Be bad, be the boys.
And yeah, and there was really only one scene where I felt like it was Bad Boys when they're in the trailer park, basically. Mm-hmm. That's when it felt like Bad Boys. I'm like, yeah, this is what I came to see. Rest of the time, it kind of felt Martin Lawrence was just super silly. Will Smith wasn't. And they were really dialing in on like the serious aspect of the story. And it's like, I get it. You can have some serious moments for our characters. But what has carried Bad Boys has never been the serious backstory of Mike and Marcus. It has been the shenanigans of Mike and Marcus.
And I think the reason why you think this is close to the Fast and the Furious is because they're pulling from a lot of those strings where it's about family. It's about building on top of the legacy. Whereas I feel like the change between Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2 was that it was like, no, we're done with that story. We're going to move on to our next story.
Yeah.
And the problem with the third and the fourth one is that they keep continuing on their legacy, which is not the way to go.
I was actually kind of looking forward to this. Like, maybe they can do something, but with the writing, with everything, they can play completely safe.
In terms of highlights, the action definitely looks good. I think some of the special effects, some of the I know they were really hyping up the gun rig that they made. Specifically for this movie. Seeing it in the behind the scenes video looked a little bit cooler, I will say.
Than the actual movie, which is supposed to be the cool part.
Yeah. But it is a great idea. And we actually did like a shitty budget version of that in the movie we just made.
Yeah.
Where I just had to have like the camera on the gimbal in between Camilla and Trini's arms.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to walk with you. Like, if we just had the money.
If we just had the money. I think, if I think about, we always go favorite characters, favorite actors, and favorite scene. I'm just talking about a scene that I hated. I felt like the big fight scene at the end was just way too long. Like, it just felt like it dragged on forever. Too many people moving around, too many things happening. Felt all over the place. And then, like, he's having a panic attack, and then he has a vision of his boss, and then he gets slapped. Like, that was funny, the slapping part, but nothing triggered it.
We got to bring this to point A, B, C, and that's our movie.
We need someone on the inside to betray them. We need them to go on the run. Then we need a place where they can fight and solve all of it.
I called out the bad guy from the beginning. I held my tongue on the catharsis that happened because I was like, I just knew it. I was like, I don't even want to shout it out at this point. It was just so noticeable.
Do you have a favorite scene? The Reggie scene's my favorite.
I want to say maybe the neon...
The art gallery kind of.
The art gallery?
That one was probably the best scene.
Because that's the shootout, and then it goes into the chase.
And it had some comedy with the candy and stuff. So that was... And then, to be honest, I figured that guy was going to die. He died very unceremoniously. I'm going to probably go with that. If I had to pick, if there's other standouts, it's definitely the Reggie scene at home where he's fighting off everyone and their reactions. Which, like, a couple were good, then they overplayed it. And then I like the prison fight scene.
I remember the first hit that he does with the weights.
Yeah. Oh, that was crazy.
That was
you heard an audible ooh from everyone.
Yeah. Like
yeah. Bad Boys, it's like action, comedy, drama. And when I think of Bad Boys, I think comedy, action, drama. Like, that's the order. In this movie, it felt like action, comedy, drama. And I think for Bad Boys, I don't think of a well-balanced story. I think of, like, complete shenanigans and chaos.
Yeah.
And I think that it felt too tight. It didn't feel loose enough.
When I was getting to the bottom of is Bad Boys a good movie, I turned to some of the reviews, and Letterboxd did not let me down. There were so many people that gave it 5-star reviews, and they were like, this is a cinematic masterpiece. That action peaked in 2003. And I cannot disagree with them, but also I read things from like Roger Ebert and like actual big movie critics at the time, and the consensus from a lot of people was that it was too loose. And it's exactly what you're saying. So you were saying like this was too tight, and the problems that people had with the first one was that it was too loose. That was written in like newspapers and everything else.
Maybe they say the reasons Bad Movie's too loose, but now I expect from the Bad Boy, it's supposed to be all over the place. It's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, and it's not. That's really what it comes down to, because my favorite character in the movie is Reggie, and he's not a main character, because Reggie embodies what Bad Boys actually is. It's silly, but yet there's great action, and there's little to no drama involved.
It might be bloated too much with too many characters. They're always talking at different characters. They're never actually developing those characters.
Yeah. And I think I would have been okay with all this if the story wasn't following up on something that happened earlier.
Did you have fun?
No. Dude, this is Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Just get them in a situation where they have to be silly.
If you had to rank these, where would you go?
This is tough. If I had to rank them, I think I'd go 1, 2... In order, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they all just get worse.
It just goes downhill for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to go 2, 1, 3, 4.
Yeah, this is definitely the worst one.
I didn't get a lot out of it, but the thing is, I didn't leave the theater feeling disappointed.
Like, they were really building towards something, and then to me, it all just shits the bed.
Before we run into final thoughts and ratings, this is also the shortest of the Bad Boy movies.
Really?
Out of the entire series, yeah. All of them run just over 2 hours or 2.5 hours. This is the shortest one.
Man, they could have easily cut like 20 minutes. And there's just so many like editing choices of like, why did I need to see that?
At the very end, there was just this quick helicopter shot of Miami that came right after the fade out, but then right before a fade in, and I was like, that was very...
They had so many shots of Miami here. So, like, I get it. We're in Miami, guys.
We love the 305.
Yeah.
There was also so many logistical errors. I know you were having a really tough time with the amount of guns that weren't being used.
I can't take it, Nick. I can't. This is why I can't watch... Just fucking shoot the gun! And then when they do shoot the gun, they never hit. It's just, I can't get a win here. I can't.
Oh no, a plane just flew into the building. I guess we can't use our guns anymore.
Ever since 9/11, drugs... What? So weird.
They should have brought me in. I would have pointed out the inside job right there. I would have been like,
right
there
now,
he is.
And yeah, and just at the end be like, oh wow.
Let's go for final thoughts and ratings.
Yeah, get me out. You want to go first? I'll go first.
Oh, you want to go first?
I don't give a shit.
All right, go for it.
Bad Boys Ride or Die. It is pretty much using nostalgia to carry this. Doesn't do a good job. Lots of great moments, but again, when you tie it all together, I don't think there's much there. Not a lot. It's going for substance when it shouldn't. This is Bad Boys in 2024. It's been how many years? Just let's go back to the roots. Let's make it more silly. I think that's what you got to do with a lot of remakes. You have to make fun of yourself, and they do, but they don't do it enough. I think they really tried to make this a serious flick. Most movies, when you're on your fourth one, it's kind of tough to do at this point. So, that being said, I don't think anyone should go see this movie unless you're a really big Bad Boys fan. I think you're gonna like it. It's a 2 for me. I really lean on 1, but I think there are enough good moments that it's okay. So I'm giving it a 2.
Unfortunately, this is not the best entry in the series, although it's not the worst movie that I've seen this year. I've seen some really bad movies this year. There have been Ghost Pools.
I forget that that's in the same year as this.
Yeah,
like
that's a real thing. Just a quick sidetrack. We've been posting some of our content to YouTube, some select episodes and reels, and we did a lot of episodes, like so many, and watching them back, it's like kind of like a fever dream of like, wow, that really happened. It's like, yeah, there was a movie about a ghost pool. So some things really surprise you there, and you forget about them, just like this movie. Some things happen there, and you forget about them. The king of fucking transitions over here. Ride or Die is a very passable movie. It's a sleeper. It's something you can have on in the background. It's cool to watch. It looks nice, but it's a lot of fluff. This is a movie that is so self-aware of itself that it forgot who it is and tried to be itself at the same time. If you can follow that train
I'm with you. Actually, if you watch the movie, you understand.
Yeah. As a fan, I feel like I'm going to be a little bit too generous with this rating because I think it is a mid-movie, and I know mid-movies do usually fall in the 2 range, but I feel like it was fun enough for me, and I just like the action scenes. If I had the choice to rewatch this again, I would, but out of the 4, I would definitely watch the other 3 first, so I'm going to give this a soft 3.
It's been another episode of Take 303. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for riding with us. Hope you didn't die along the way. If you want to see any more of our content, check us out on YouTube. We are finally on YouTube. You can also check it out on Instagram, @fortway_media and take.303 for all the news, reels, highlights, and everything else we got going on. This week's question of the week: what is your favorite buddy cop film? And the poll question is, of the 4 Bad Boys movies, which one is your favorite? And if you say 4, you can go fuck yourself. That's a personal note from me. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time when we watch Inside Out 2.